This one is on, well, irony. A lot of people wanted to give me suggestions of things that I'm already doing, or suggestions based on their lack of understanding of the situation. I was trying to steer clear of the word ignorant because most people, if you tell them that they're ignorant, it doesn't matter if they're ignorant or not, they're going to take it personal. You call me ignorant, well, you just better be right. When it comes to nuclear physics, I am pretty darn ignorant. Highly intelligent, but ignorant nonetheless, because I haven't studied nuclear physics. Bug it, right? Am I less of a person for that? Well, no. I'm going to read something from a guy called MJK Gaming from a day ago. It's on a video called Where I Spoke Out. He typed, I'm sorry, or it might be a girl, I don't know. Typed, I'm sorry you've gone through what you've had to go through, Sean, and I understand how much you care. I think it would be a good idea to take a break from Facebook. Well, I'd like to see my friends. With most of them, the only way that I have to contact them anymore is Facebook. With my phones getting stolen and having their numbers in them, well, I no longer have many of their numbers. What's killing me is not being able to see my loved ones. Y'all aren't getting that. Natalie didn't get that. A lot of people say you need to put yourself in their shoes. I did. Did they put themselves in mine? Else typed, people's opinion on you online shouldn't affect you because they are irrelevant. That is not true. 100% not true. The reason for that is because it's not just an opinion online. It's not like people's opinions disappear when they're not online. Several of the people who I had to deal with up in Washington State recognized me from some of these sleuth groups that they're interested in. Another thing is that this stuff online shows the mentality that I have to deal with in real life. In real life, it's not just harassment on the internet. In real life, it's not just words. In real life, these predators have access to. In real life, these predators, we're literally 2 miles from the Colorado border here. At any point in time, my predators could come up here and do whatever they want to me, and I'm actually fine with that. See, because if they're willing to put a hole in my head, I'm willing to dig my own hole. But if they want to torture me, I'm going to defend myself at this point. Between being tortured and defending myself, goddamn right, I'm going to defend myself. Against the police, you don't have much option. You have to either take their abuse or take their abuse and get charged because you stood up for yourself. The other thing is, like, all right, on Natalie's last public post, if you go all the way back to the beginning, and I know it takes a while because there's thousands of comments on there, but if you go all the way back, you can see right at the very beginning where she called me a stalker, right? At no point in time did she say anything about trying to have sex with her or anything crazy like that. Matter of fact, she writes down at the very beginning of that we didn't have that kind of relationship. You know why? Because we didn't. However, that's in my court paperwork in Arapahoe County that me and Natalie were boyfriend and girlfriend. Who is that because of? Kara Johnson Miles, the very same woman who wanted to manipulate Shelley because Kara Johnson Miles got busted pulling some shady shit. She was supposed to be an autism advocate. It turned out that she wasn't an autism advocate. She was a bully who was slandering my name in these Facebook groups and increasing the hatred towards me. Now, like I said, it wasn't just on the internet. I have to deal with these people in person. Now, the other thing is, there's a bunch of strangers I don't know that are all into the Natalie case. And then, it was no longer popular and they forgot all about it and went on with their lives. That's great. But that doesn't help me in Chapel, Nebraska or Boulder, Colorado, where my loved ones are. These people are never going to forget. Many of the predators that I had to deal with in Boulder, Colorado, before Natalie died, well, before Natalie came into my life and actually became my friend when she turned 18, like before that, most of the abuse that I'd endured in Boulder, Colorado was at the hands of the police. Now, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of times that I got my stuff stolen because, well, when you're homeless, people steal your stuff. You're like, all right, I got a great opportunity. I got a job interview today. It's 6 miles away. I can't bring my bag. I need to get cleaned up. I'm going to change into my nice pair of clothes. And I'm going to go in for this job interview. Hey, John, will you watch my pack? John might watch your pack. John might tell you no. You might have to stash your pack in a bush and hope nobody finds it. John might say that he's going to watch it, but then some girl comes up and gives him some attention. Next thing you know, he's forgotten all about your bag. He's busy chasing vagina. Well, that's not my fault, but my stuff gets stolen nonetheless. Train. Let's see. They're not irrelevant though, because they show the mentality that someone's saying things like that. Yeah, when you say stuff like that to another human being about somebody who's innocent, the mentality of that people get and the way that they treat that innocent person, yeah, that's something that Natalie, she could have put herself in my shoes. She could have talked to me as a human being instead of sending people after me and playing victim. Now, while she was sending people after me and people were actually harming me, she was playing like she was being continually stalked because I'm asking her to put a stop to this. Are y'all seeing where the issue is here? Now, a lot of people wanted to give me help. This is where the little too ironic, yeah, I really do think. A lot of people, they offered me the help that I needed after it was too late. Now, right at the very beginning, I was making that analogy. Let's say you got diabetes. You need special shoes, otherwise, your feet are going to rot, and the doctor's going to have to cut them off. You got about 2 weeks to get this pair of shoes, because after that, it's going to be too late to save your feet, and they're going to have to cut them off. So you tell your friends, hey, I need these shoes. I need these shoes, otherwise, they're going to cut my feet off. So then, 6 months after your feet are cut off, when your friend comes down with these special shoes for your diabetes, 6 months after your feet were cut off, they show up with these shoes. You don't even have any feet anymore. And they're pissed off at you because you won't try on their shoes. There was a point where those shoes would have helped. And I told you when those shoes would have helped. And you blew me off for 6 months. Now I can't walk. And you want to treat me like I'm a bad person, like I'm turning down your help. At that point, those shoes are not help. They're not. Those shoes are a slap to my face about what my life could have been. Thank you very much for getting me shoes that I don't need anymore. Thank goodness I got the wheelchair to push myself around in. And I need to be happy with the wheelchair because I don't have any feet anymore. Now, that analogy, I've been making it since Natalie died. people weren't getting the point that while all of these people who hated me were pretty well hell-bent, hell or high water, on making sure that number one, I couldn't defend myself. Number two, I couldn't see my loved ones. Number three, that I saw not a moment's rest. There's a lot of people that were pissed off because I told the truth. A lot of people, they're like, I love how honest you are. Mandy Hughes, Alyssa Rainwater, fucking all these people. I love how honest you are. Yeah, you love how honest I am until I'm honest about you. You don't like that very much, do you? See, these people know exactly how Natalie felt. Natalie claiming that I slandered her name because I told the truth. And each one of these people in turn has done the same thing. Then again, you can look through all of my videos and notice that, yes, I admitted to every single thing that I did wrong. I admitted to every single law that I broke. You know who it is that got me busted in Arapahoe County? Me. I was the one who turned myself in. I was the one who posted on the internet for God and everyone to see, unlike these cowards who wanted to threaten my life in Messenger. Yeah, I'll do it in public. I'm not a fucking coward. I will show the whole goddamn world. The reason that I turned myself in on the internet, on these sites, why did I do that? Why would I do that knowing that it's illegal? Knowing that what I was saying was going to get me in trouble. Because these people did the same thing to me repeatedly over and over and over and over again. And nobody would investigate them. Nobody would look at the evidence. Steve Tomlinson, one of the conversations between him and I is right here on this very YouTube. And in it, he talks about, yeah, my public pretenders wouldn't look at that evidence. Yes, I did bring it with me. Yes, we tried to show it to them a few times. It doesn't mean they're going to look. So a lot of the help that I got needed to be done in a specific order. Like having a vehicle doesn't really do me much good when I need money to be able to take care of myself. I need an income. I am disabled and I'm not able to work. Now I'm able to do stuff a little bit. Like yesterday, I went over to Stegman's and I chopped down some lilac bushes a little bit. I probably spent about 20 minutes out there overall. 20 minutes. Now, 4 days ago, I was at Stegman's as well, doing the same thing. Why did it take me 3 days to recover? Because my back is that fucked up. And there's a lot of people who just didn't want to come forward because they knew that they would get in trouble. A lot of these professional type folks are like that. Them and their buddies will gang up on you if you tell them. That is a fact. Anybody who is an at-risk individual, if you have the term mentally ill held over your head, you are an at-risk individual and you need to have somebody there and present to make sure that your rights aren't violated. That's number one. Well, actually, number one is that police need to have body cameras with sound on at all points in time. This whole turning off their body cameras when they do something illegal so they can say, oh, well, he's a criminal and I'm a cop. He's mentally ill. And, obviously I'm of sound mind because I'm an officer. No, there isn't a single officer in America who's of sound mind. If you can enforce such immoral laws or twist laws to the point where you're literally breaking the law to twist them in such a way, you're not a good cop. If there's 1,300 good cops and 10 bad cops, and those 1,300 bad cops good cops, don't turn in those 10 bad cops, you've got 1,310 bad cops. Now, let's also, and I have dealt with this firsthand for the last 3 years. You know what? I had to deal with that in my youth as well. I had to deal with the fact that the staff all work together. They assume that because you're there, you must have done something wrong. And that's how we end up with situations where staff members are raping children, where we have teachers having sex with students, where we have principals who have mass quantities of child porno and are having sex with students. This is where we have police officers in 38 states. It's legal for them to fuck somebody that they arrested. Not only that, but many of these officers are detectives. They will pick up an 18 or 19-year-old girl. They will arrest her with male buddies, tell her male buddies they can go free. Usually, this is under something that is not severe, but it is something that's illegal that younger folks are going to be scared shitless of. Like, you got marijuana in your ashtray. You better not have marijuana in your ashtray, but if you do have marijuana in your ashtray, then two detectives are going to pull up in their undercover van, tell you there's marijuana in your ashtray. Your two male buddies can leave, but you need to come with us. They raped that girl, by the way. Two detectives raped that girl, claimed that it was consensual. Now, luckily, there was enough noise made that those officers got in trouble. Well, I don't think we made enough noise when it comes to the situation involving Teresa Massilia or Christy Kelly. Christine Kelly, sorry. People are getting help when it's too late. And that is a major issue. With my dad, Natalie had already been dead over a year before my dad spoke with me. He didn't even bother to contact me before that. I had to contact him. There's a lot of evidence that was stolen. And you know what? Despite the fact they lied in the courts and said that I wasn't trying, I've been doing nothing but try to get an honest day in court and to get justice for myself as well as Natalie and many others. If you're a person and you want to pretend that your problems are worse than everybody else's, you know what? You might be right, you might not. But then again, you're living your life, not everybody else's. Selena Not Afraid is a Native American woman, girl. She was 16 when she died. She died January 1st of this year up in Hardin, Montana. Now, last year, at the very beginning of the year, I made a video about Hardin, Montana, and about Native girls in that area being murdered in exactly the same way that she was murdered. I want you to imagine a family, especially if you're black at this point. I want you to imagine Selena Not Afraid's family. All right. Now, her older brother was shot to death by the police. They do need their voices heard. Not just black lives, all of them. I'm not being racist by saying that this is our problem, not just yours. If Black Lives Matters wants to hate all white people, well, you need to keep in mind that, first of all, white people is a group. Black Lives Matters is a group. And every human being on planet Earth is what? An individual. None of us exist as a group. Do I identify as being white? It doesn't matter how I identify. I'm a human being. Now, for a male, he is treated a lot different than you guys might imagine. If you're a girl and you've ever been raped, that situation is hell. But you get treated a lot better than boys do. Boys aren't allowed to say nothing. Matter of pride. If a boy says something, girls will never date him, and he has to be worried about that. You got a 200-pound man who rapes you when you're 64 pounds. That doesn't make you less of a man. Of course, you speak up about it, and that makes you less of a man in a lot of people's eyes. My dad, he did something for me that I never thought my dad would ever do. My dad gave me a vehicle. And as much as I needed to get my disability back before I could get that vehicle, you don't argue with my dad. He's one of those people who thinks he's right no matter. Now, I noticed that the more stupid somebody is, the more set in their ways in this fashion that they are. My dad's not that bright of a feller. Matter of fact, there were lots of ideas that I had back in the 90s when I lived with my dad. I tell my dad about these ideas that I had. Oh, don't you think somebody's thought of that already? Don't you think somebody's thought of that already? Way to be fucking supportive, asshole. So, one of the ideas that I had back then was a plastic see-through boat made out of these. This is actually a 3-liter bottle, but it says right there on the side, I guess you probably can't see it too well because it's in the plastic, but it says PETE. That's polyethylene terephthalate. Now, it melts down at 266 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can use it for making a lot of different shapes. Now, depending on how you cool it down and how you heat it up, you can actually make something that's this thin that isn't squishy like this. It'll shatter when you hit it. You can also make it so that it's almost the consistency of putty. Now, that's what I used to do. I used to focus on trying to make the world a better place. I saw problems that I had lived through, and I saw solutions as well. So instead of just talking about it, I sought to actually implement those solutions. This is the 4th drill press that I have bought in the last 3 years. The 4th one. Now, why do I need that? There's lots of projects I want to build. There are a lot of things that I personally believe will make the world a better place. But then there's the, is it too late? A lot of the stuff that I spoke out about the State of the Union and things of that nature years and years ago, I really saw all this coming. I mean, I'm too much of a history buff not to pay attention. Sorry if I keep getting paranoid over in that direction when I hear sounds. I got an opossum. It's a little baby that lives with me, and he's a pain in the ass. He likes to hiss at me at the middle of the night. He likes to run around through different stuff here and make noise. He's a cute little bastard, though. I think there might be 2 of them. I don't know if the protests are scripted or not. I'm pretty sure that 10,000 people protesting, that's not scripted. That's 10,000 people protesting. One thing that I did notice, I noticed that a few people of color that were throwing stuff, breaking windows and things like that. There were also white people taking part in that as well. So there's a lot of people that I've been, well, they're friends with me on Facebook. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're friends in real life. But they want to be racist against black people. Like black people are the only people who are out there speaking out. Like black people are the only ones who are out there lighting fires or breaking things or looting. We all know that's not the case. saw plenty of pictures of white people looting, but yeah, you don't want to focus on that, do you? Hello, Bree. It's so. What does that mean? You know, it's sad to me that violence is actually the most united that we've ever been. People will come together for violence. People will come together to hurt people, like they came together to hurt me. You give them something to love, yeah. You give them something to hate, they'll jump on it like flies on shit. All right, head fly. Mm, I'm gonna get me another one too. There's two or three of them flying around in here. Patinkin, you're right. I deserve justice too. But at this point, Natalie hasn't had justice. Alicia hasn't had justice. Rose doesn't get justice. She doesn't deserve justice, and that's sad to say. Natalie's family did a lot of terrible things to her. And the terrible things that Natalie did to me, she did because she wanted her family to love her. I understand that. I also understand that she was embarrassed. See, a lot of people want to tell me I should put myself in someone else's shoes. I always put myself in someone else's shoes. I put myself in Rihanna's shoes while I was there in Wyoming. I put myself in Amy's shoes while I was there in Wyoming. I put myself in those little girls' shoes while I was there in Wyoming. Emotionally, I can understand all of them. That sucks. That's what happens when you run scenarios. I'm not the only one who runs scenarios, though. Chris Stegeman's autistic. Well, he's not diagnosed, but he has very autistic traits. It's difficult to get diagnosed as an adult. For me, it helped that a lot of people knew me from before, and they were able to explain that the traits that I've had my whole life, and those are autistic traits. But then there's the amount of time, the irony that it takes to get that help that you need. See, when the police assaulted me, all it took was them assaulting me and claimed that I assaulted them. They claimed I assaulted them with a weapon, mind you. Now, the video of me being assaulted by Waylon Lolatai is on this YouTube channel. Where's the weapon? Where is the weapon? And then they claim that I tried to bite them. I want to show you something that a lot of people might not know about me. Train. I have zero teeth in my head. Epilepsy is actually one of the common traits that goes in with autism. So is ADHD and Tourette syndrome, obsessive compulsive disorder, social anxiety disorder, um, obsessive compulsive disorder. I might have said that one already. Um, the thing is that a lot of these disorders, it's not that these people actually have these disorders, it's that they have PTSD from how they're treated for being different. You fucking weirdo, you're a fucking creeper. You're this, you're that. Like, I'm not like you. Like, imagine what it was like for me the first time I moved to Chapel, Nebraska. Before this, like, I kind of have some memories from before I was 4 years old. Kind of, sort of. I went into the system when I was 4, and I got out of the system when I was 15, and I got shipped here to Chapel, Nebraska at 15. Pretty much what I knew was minorities. I mean, up in Washington State, it was mostly blacks, Asians, Native Americans. In Colorado, it was mostly blacks and Hispanic folks. I mean, regionally, there's going to be different folks from different areas and so on and so forth. But at the same time, like when you're in the system, it's not a lot of white people. White people go to specialty places, you know, unless they're broke, in which case you go to the same places as the minorities. Um, and I know I'm chuckling, but it's really not a laughing matter. It's the fact that, my rights aren't worth fighting for because I'm white. I must automatically have those rights because I'm white. I must be rich because I'm white. I must have 2 cars in my garage because I'm white. I must own a house because I'm white. How much free shit do you think all of us white people are getting? Now, I acknowledge, and I 100% acknowledge, that there is a such thing as white privilege. When Natalie disappeared, if I'd have been a black man, I'd have been dead. I would have been shot. The police would have gone, oh, case is closed. And they probably would have celebrated by ordering pizza from Domino's where Natalie's killer worked. They probably would have tipped the son of a bitch who shot her in the head if I'd have been black. But the other thing is, would it be just because of the black thing? No, I gotta admit, black people have it nicer than homeless people, unless they're black and homeless. And I was made homeless by Natalie's death. At that point in time, if I was a darker pigment, I wouldn't have had to been black. I could have just been brown. That would have been close enough. Joseph Michael Lopez, he's got a Hispanic last name, so a lot of people want to be racist towards him on that. Yeah, Joseph Lopez shot my best friend in the fucking head, killed her deader than a fucking doornail. And no, I'm still not being a racist asshole towards him. His genetic makeup didn't make this happen. His ancestry didn't make this happen. A lot of people want to tell me how much white people need to pay black people because we owned them. My first 100 years of ancestors in this country were owned by somebody else as well. I have never owned another human being. I have never tried to own nor possess another human being. I'm not running around with a whip saying, hey, get off my block, get to the back of the bus, go to the colored section. No, I'm standing up for your rights. Even if you don't like me, I acknowledge the fact that your rights are my rights, and if I allow it to happen to you, then they can do it to me next. Which is something that you guys didn't pay attention to when you allowed them to do whatever they wanted to me. Now the things that they set illegal precedents doing when they did it to me, they can do it to all of you, regardless of color. When it comes to special rights, well, there's a lot of stuff that has been introduced since Natalie's death that I could have taken advantage of if it had happened 6 months earlier, a year earlier, so on and so forth. But because they didn't, well, I can't go back in time and change it, can I? No, I just have to deal with it. Now, there's a bunch of comments on the side here that are piling up, so I'm going to read the shit out of this. Let's see. Crazy, I just say the story about the girl and saw you were live. Italian, Norwegian type people love blaming, and for the most part, they love violence. Ruining someone's life is what some people like to do best. You deserve justice. Tetsuo type Saw. Uh, Patenket, what's your tattoo of? A dead angel. It's unfinished. It was in a sketchbook that was in my car, the one that was stolen by police. I say stolen because it wasn't confiscated, it was stolen. It was illegally taken from me. They outright lied repeatedly to me. Matter of fact, that was over a fire that I lit in order to try to force a court date. I threatened the people who threatened me and my loved ones. I lit a fire, and then I threatened to kill the President of the United States. That's after 7 months of hell, 7 months of empty promises, that I finally, I manned up. If I got to break the law to be heard, then so be it, I will. I do believe that it was Jefferson who had something to say about that. If a law is unjust, it's not only my right, but my duty to break it. If the laws apply to you but not to me, then those laws do not exist. Because of the term, we the people. I like that term a lot more than mentally ill. Mentally ill means that you're not a human being. We the people means together we are mighty. Apes together strong. Yes, I took that from the movie. Tetsuo. I believe every human has something wrong with them, just some are worse off than others. Nobody is perfect. That's correct. Italian, Norwegian. I'm autistic. I also got epilepsy. Mark Champeau. You can't save everyone, Sean. Focus on yourself and take care of yourself, man. See, now that right there, a lot of people say the same thing that I've heard over and over and over again, and it would be nice if it applied. Like this Mark feller, he's not a piece of shit or anything. He doesn't know me from Adam. He's just stating his opinion. But his opinion is based on a lack of fact. And I don't want to say the word ignorant because then Mark might be one of those people who gets horribly bent out of shape when you say you don't know enough about the situation to make that decision. I can't save everyone. You're right, I can't. But I can do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Focus on yourself and take care of yourself, man. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to take care of myself. But when it's just you, you have to depend on others, especially when you have all of your resources taken. When they take away your vehicle and your disability money and your housing all at the same time because somebody died that you didn't kill. I can't take care of myself. I need actual help. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I'm able to do. I spent a lot of years homeless, so there's a lot of homeless stuff that I can do. There's a lot of homeless stuff that I can teach people. But then there's the stuff that I didn't get to be a part of, the things in your society that only select people to get to be a part of. Only the good looking people or the rich people. And, I don't get to be a part of those groups. So my ability to take care of myself is extremely dwindled. There's also the fact that I have no rights. You call me mentally ill, and I have no rights. People can assault me and call me mentally ill, and they automatically win. That's why it's important to have body cameras. Now, I tried to have a camera on at all points in time, but it's not that easy. When all of your money is getting spent going to court date to court date to court date, you don't have the money for food, you don't have the money for gas, you don't have the money for anything. And people are like, you need to buy this, you need to buy that, you need to do this, you need to do that. I probably had easily 40 or 50 people send me just one phone number. 40 or 50 people all sending me the same exact phone number, a phone number that I have called hundreds of times. And they say, oh, well, if you call these people, they'll help. And I record those conversations, by the way. A lot of them are here on YouTube. There's also a lot of them that were on that computer that was stolen and on those flash drives. But yeah, I saved those phone calls. I saved those phone calls to show you that you're judging me based on opinions and not facts. You're judging me based on slander and not facts. It's a tobacco pipe, not a crack pipe. I take the tobacco that's the end of the tobacco stick here, roll it out, and that way I don't end up wasting all my money on cigarettes. Let's see. I tell you, Norwegian, I was called a dog by the teachers and principal alike. I was just too different. People hated me and I wanted friends. The beginning of life was really difficult. And it is. It totally is. One of the people that I went to for help was Chelsea Worsing. And she's friends with one of the people who hated me over this situation, someone named Katie Whiteman. Chelsea is autistic too. Chelsea wouldn't come forward because she wants to be friends with Katie Whiteman. Katie Whiteman is in Colorado, and I'm not. And her excuse for not telling the truth was that it's difficult for her to make friends because of her disability. Her disability is autism, same as me. It's not easy for me to make friends either. Like if I'm scared shitless, basically when I introduce myself to somebody, it's important for somebody who knows me to be there and present because I'm different, I'm weird, and I'm also extremely witty. If you're not that intelligent of a person, you're probably not going to get my jokes. But even if you were a highly intelligent person, when you first meet me, you might not even realize I'm the joke. There's a lot of my jokes that are based off of references from the time that I grew up in. So if you're younger than that generation, you might be completely mind blown. What are you talking about, man? I'm sorry, you would have had to been alive for Alf. You know, how many of y'all from the '80s remember Alf? All right. Bree McWill typed, "You were so horribly misunderstood." Well, yeah, and I'm still misunderstood. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand. The best I can do is try to learn, to try to get the best information I can to make the best decisions I can. I tell you, Norwegian, unfortunately, it is just is. The nicest people are usually the ones who gets hurt the most. You know, I'm not a nice person anymore. If you come talk to me in real life, I'm a nice person. The personality that you get on the internet is not who I am in real life. Um, who I am in real life is, all right, who I used to be in real life and who I am now in real life are not the same either. And that's another point to be made. A lot of these people who kicked me in the teeth, fucking kicked me while I was down, a lot of them remembered me before I hurt my back. And I was a lot different person. When people asked me for help, they got help. When Shauna Verbus asked for my help moving, she got help. When Rebecca Black asked for my help moving, she got help. When Amanda Payne asked for help moving, she got my help. When Jerry Sparks needed help moving, she got my help repeatedly. That's just from this town. And that's just a small selection. Well, since there's people, I suppose I should finish this thing that I was reading from MJK Gaming. I kind of went off on a tangent there. Um, Being behind a screen will make them feel safe when slandering you, but that doesn't mean you need to take their opinion to heart because it's not true. I don't know you personally, but I've been captivated by your struggles. Maybe I'm missing the point, but there is no reason anyone else should be hurt more, especially you. Maybe focus more on nature and other things that can keep your mind going. There is a whole bunch of stuff on this YouTube of me doing exactly that. When I went up to Washington State the last time, I was planning on going off to the Olympic Peninsula, digging myself a hole and just living there for the rest of my life. Maybe starting a kitchen camp with some homeless people up there. Life happens while you're busy making plans, though. See, when I was in Boulder, I was pretty well one with nature. I went on a lot of nature hikes, spent a lot of time camping, spent a lot of time cleaning up camps, too. Um, a lot of times you show up at a camp and it looks like somebody hasn't been there for months, but all their stuff is that's usually somebody who's homeless who got arrested. And then there's the ones where it's just a whole bunch of trash all over the place, but there's no gear. That's usually people in houses on vacation. Either way, we go up the mountain, we clean up the mess, we take care of business. I still have court stuff going on, and all of the court dates that I've been railroaded in the last 2 years. By the way, most of those cases, the evidence is actually here on my YouTube that shows that I was telling the truth. The police lied, and people like Alyssa Rainwater and Brianna Ingersoll and many people like that have actually they have spoken. Then again, they were only speaking up to me, which is why I recorded it and put it on YouTube. And a lot of people are pissed off about that. But you know what? You had a choice. You really did. You could tell the truth, or you could pull the fucked up bullshit that you pulled. And not everybody pulled fucked up bullshit. Some people were just waiting for an excuse to throw me away. And I get that. It helps to alleviate their conscience, makes it not their fault. Then there's also the sheer number of child molesters that I have found out about in the last 2 years. I mean, most of the places that I went for help, there was either child abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, or a combination of the three. And although I didn't see anything that I would consider sexual abuse, I saw some very poor sexual boundaries by children, which usually comes from being abused by an adult. And to say you're a liar, it's another thing to call somebody a liar who's got overwhelming evidence that proves to the contrary. Well, happy birthday, Italia. My birthday was October 18th, 1980. My birthday in 2015, I hurt my back. In 2016 was the last time I saw Natalie alive. My birthday in 2017 sucked. My birthday in 2018, I pled guilty to something I shouldn't have had to because of empty promises that ended up being complete bullshit. My public pretender, her name was Pamela Carty. I threatened to sue her, threatened to take her to court for doing her job on the 15th of October of 2018. Her and the DA and the judge pulled some really fucked up shit, outright lied to me. The judge refused to allow me to fire my lawyer. They didn't care about my fucking rights. I'm not a human being to them. And you know who stuck up for me the most in the jails? Black people! That's right. In specific, 3 Muslims looked out for me. Oh, and 2 homosexuals looked out for me. Yeah. So Does every black person hate all white people? Obviously not. Do all gay people hate straight people? Obviously not. A lot of the people that I was in jail with or in these institutions with since Natalie disappeared gave me their contact information. And some of them, it's been a few years and their contact information no longer works. But that doesn't stop me from trying. There's a lot of stuff on my computer that if I knew how to access it, I'd be able to show a lot more. Like there was this little thing, I thought it was called Cloud, but it's called OneDrive. It says your OneDrive is full. I don't know how to access the OneDrive. I don't know how to anything with it. Before Natalie died, I used my computer for watching YouTube videos to educate myself and using Facebook to talk to my loved ones and playing video games. If people needed to fill out a job application, I let them use it. Now, a lot of the thing that people keep typing about, you just need to focus on yourself. You just need to focus on yourself. Time out. Time out. Our rights. We, the people. These are our rights, not just mine. How am I going to bitch about my rights being violated if I'm going to turn a blind eye to other people's rights being violated? I am not going to turn around and pretend that all these black people being shot by police, I'm not going to pretend that that's acceptable. That's fucking disgusting. Okay, so I'm not black. Does that make it okay? No, the fuck it doesn't. That's like walking by four neo Nazis beating up a dude in a dress and going, oh, well, I don't wear dresses. Must be okay. I'm just going to carry on with my day. Fuck no. When that officer was going to shoot Lucky's dog on the courthouse lawn in Boulder, Colorado, it was me in Alaska. That's the street name of somebody out there, by the way. It was me in Alaska who stood between that officer's pointed pistol and that dog. He was just looking for an excuse to do something cruel. He showed up. He tried starting a fight with Lucky. This officer did. And Lucky's like, I'm not interested in fighting. And the officer got very standoffish and started yelling and unclipped his gun. And that's when the dog started barking. But that officer was presenting himself as hostile. And it's all right for police to get hostile with people. It's all right for police to beat you up. Now, a lot of this stuff that I keep hearing about how police are doing it to black people. They're doing it to black people. They're doing it to black people. Well, I got lots of dead friends who aren't black who the exact same things happened to. But you know what? They didn't hit the news. And if they did, it was a tiny paragraph. Do you know why? Because there was no Black Lives Matters to make a big whooping deal out of it. Yes, that's how it is in America. It's not that these Native Americans are pretending these things aren't happening to black people. It's that they're taking care of their own. It's not that these black people don't see any of the rest of us getting screwed over. It's that they're taking care of their own. Now, let me tell you that taking care of your own is actually wrong. Why is that? Well, let's take a look at the police. All of the police who did these screwed up things were protecting their own. Who is their own? The blue line of bullshit. My little brother is a child molester. I love him. He's my little brother. However, between loyalty and honor, I choose honor. Loyalty above all else except honor. If you're loyal to somebody who's dishonorable, then you're loyal to the wrong person. Now, then there's the whole idea of what is considered honorable. You know, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. It'd be nice if we had water available, wouldn't it? But what do you do when you don't have that water? This is America, and it's a very sad place. I don't have a two-car garage. I don't even have a garage. I don't have $1 million. This is this is mine, and I'm glad for it. I'm glad for my tools. The things that I designed, boy oh boy, if I had something like that, that would sure help me out. And you know, if I make one for me, somebody else can see it. They might realize it'll help them out too. There was a see-through boat that my dad thought was a terrible idea. He thought somebody else had already come up with it. You know, it took over a decade from that point. It took over a decade for somebody else to do that. How insane is that? Somebody already thought of it, Sean. Somebody probably already thought of it. That's right. And 10 years down the road, someone finally did something about it. Well done, Dad. So, I guess that's about the conclusion of my ironic video. A lot of the help that people wanted to give, they just gave too late. One woman, her name was Katie Cahill, and Katie Cahill was going to represent me in court. Yeah, some months later, she still hadn't done shit. And then she wanted to get pissed off because I made videos about how pissed off I was at the fact that she was wasting my resources and my time with her empty promises. She's not the only one that did so, though. A lot of people were all gung ho about helping me out until it came to actually doing something, or until it came to the fact that my resources were gone. And then magically I was some sort of a terrible monster. Like the whole situation with Lan Engeline. Like, holy fuck. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't show up with $1 million. You thought I got a bunch of money from these GoFundMe's? I get I didn't get any money from those GoFundMe's because I didn't make them. I didn't make any of those GoFundMe's. Now I was finally able to make a GoFundMe myself right before I ended up in jail in August 2018. Guess how much money I got out of that? $0. To date, there have been 5 GoFundMe's for me, and I've gotten a grand total of $0.00 out of all of them. I get it. The rules are different for you than they are for me. For Chelsea Worthing, the rules are different for her than they are for me. I'm autistic. She's autistic. She has problems making friends. She doesn't really have problems making friends, though. She's pretty social. Um, but at the same time, she's not pretty. So she doesn't get the attention that the pretty girls get, and she wants that attention. Well, that's just not going to happen, Chelsea. Kind of like I'm never going to get treated like I'm Josh Martindale or Sean Jeffs. These are some of the pretty boys from here in town. That doesn't mean they're lazy POSs or anything like that. I mean, Sean Jeffson's a good goddamn worker. He's been a good worker since I met him. You know, the first time I found out Sean Jepson existed, he was 9. My little brother was 13, 12 or 13. And Sean Jepson, this little 9-year-old, beat the fuck out of my little brother out in the middle of the street. Sorry, I farted. I don't even remember where I was going with this. But then again, I got 0 sleep last night, and that's what sleep deprivation will do to you. This is my brain after one night of no sleep. If I don't get any sleep tonight, you guys are going to hear it a little more crazy. By the time I got stuck outside of Natalie's house, I'd been awake for 5 days straight. Guess how much meth I'd used? None. Meth me to sleep, bud. I tried meth. I did. My friends from high school, we were all a bunch of potheads, and after high school, they graduated to methamphetamines. I wanted my friends back. I was tired of waiting on them to come out of the room in 5 minutes when their 5 minutes was in tweaker time. It's about 4 hours of waiting. The first time I ended up homeless in Boulder, it was because I left Chapel, Nebraska, because there was nothing here for me. Matt Worley had stolen his mom's tools to pay for meth, and I went, I'm fucking out of here. Shit, no, if they're stealing from family, they're not my friends no more. They're stealing from family. I got to get as far away from this situation as possible. For a lot of people with addiction issues, lucky me, I can't get addicted to meth because I don't like it and it puts me to sleep. But for a lot of people with addiction issues, sorry about that, I got distracted. I got plastic over the back end of my horse trailer so the moisture doesn't come in. There's like a, well, it wasn't a bat. It's broad daylight, but something went by that looked black and flighty like a bird. So I was just trying to keep an eye on it. I'm going to turn this video off and try to get some sleep. You know, that could be very true. I can't take sleep meds because they trap me in nightmares and I'll myself to death trying to wake myself up. I also have restless legs, so if I don't walk at least 2 or 3 miles before I try to pass out, I won't pass out. Um, Basically, I have to walk myself to exhaustion. Now, that's good that my back is screwed up because of that. Not that that screwed up my back, but that my back is screwed up. And that might not make sense, but I can explain later. Um, the thing is that before I hurt my back, I walked from Bozeman, Montana to Boulder, Colorado. So I'd have to walk 5 or 6 miles in the night to be exhausted enough to go to sleep. It was easy to get those, miles and miles of walking when I was walking people to the warming center during the winter. You too, Hetalia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. But the thing about getting trapped in a dream, that's scary as shit. And that only happens off of medications, but also I can caffeine myself into unconsciousness. If I drink 2 of these within about 30 minutes, it'll knock me out. Caffeine. Imagine that. I'm sorry I went off on so many tangents on this one. Just tired. Y'all be safe and have a good night.